Hey guys, and welcome back to a random introvert online. I know it's been forever, but I'm struggling, okay? I hope everybody's doing fine, and let's start with our video. So, there's been this term that's been tossed around a lot lately, and it is chanta. Basically, it translates to the woman with the bag. But where did that originate from? Well, basically, women in Morocco marry into all countries. Some call it the Moroccan charm, some call it greed, some say women just make it so easy. In Morocco, one of the things that prevent men from getting married early is the woman being very demanding, so the cost of the wedding, the cost of the dowry, the gifts, everything is just a young man can't do that, so men delay getting married into their late 40s. So men in Morocco themselves usually tend to go to other countries, for example Philippines, where women aren't as picky there as women here. However, when a man is from a different country, it is made way too easy for him. So gifts, no gifts, wedding, no wedding, and that's why they come flocking here. And they make it so easy that the man doesn't even have to stay in a hotel, they just host him in their house. And a lot of things that a Moroccan man normally would have to go through, they don't make the foreign man go through that. To the extent that when the men leave, the women buy the ticket themselves to go and find their husbands in a different country, instead of him doing that and picking her at the airport and things like that, or going together. Now, the reason why they make it so easy for foreign men than Moroccan men could be, desperation due to old age, or not being able to find a suitable person here, and also, most importantly, the fetishization. Correct me on that one, please, I don't know. But, fetishizing other men from different countries. Where does that come from? Basically, TV in media. Now, there's so many Turkish, Syrian, European, all these movies from different countries where you see that the characters are so beautiful that they set the standards for men in the other countries. So men look at that and they think that that's the standard over there. For one of the prime examples for this is K-pop in Korean, everything really. The movies set the standard for the treatment that the women will be receiving and for how the men would look like, and an idea of the lifestyle and how it will be, which is wrong in most cases. It's not always factual. How do I know this? Well, speaking to a lot of American people, whenever I watch a movie and I start talking to them about it, they say, oh no, that movie is just showing how rich families live. And I used to think that that was the standard. I was wrong. And also it could be greed because, the Middle Easterns, they dash their women in gold from head to toe, and you would think that you would get the same treatment if you date or marry a Middle Eastern, but So these women chase these men, chase these fantasies, but in the end they get hit by a brick wall. Men in movies are actors who get paid to say good things, cute lines. The jewelry in movies is fake. The houses are set, but it's usually movies nobody watches in those countries that they export here, and women are like, oh my god, this is reality. Meaning it does not set the tone for the beauty standards or for the treatment or for the lifestyle either. Especially morality. Let's say beauty, sure, accurate, not accurate, but the morality is really not something that you can get from a movie of an entire country. Also, the fact that women forget that not every man in the Middle East is rich. It's not like that. Some of the best spenders here sell everything they have there to come live the lavish life here because they can't afford to live the lavish life there. So they come here, spend all their money, and go back home to their blue-collar jobs. Not all men in other countries can be trusted, so take your time. Same for women. And it's really easy to fake a lifestyle. You can just borrow everything and say it's mine. No one knows, no one can check on you either. So when these women go to those countries, they find that the men aren't as financially stable as they promised them they are. They find that the country is not safe and that no one would help them in case anything happens, for multiple reasons. One being, women from countries hate it when their men go and bring other women from different countries to marry. It's like that tribal jealousy. It's ingrained in all of us. So much so that the Saudi government made it nearly impossible to marry someone from Morocco because of how frequent that happens, which means that there's no one marrying the Saudi women. So that fact resulted in what is known as a customary marriage. What is that? A customary marriage is when you get married to a person with the authority of religion, which means you invite 12 people and you invite an imam, and he's the person that says that you get married. But the thing is, there's zero legal papers involved. The court is not involved either. And the thing is, the scholars nowadays say that a marriage is not acceptable unless it goes through court. These are the religion people speaking. But some people, go the back doorway, and so they get married without papers, which means that marriage doesn't even count. It's still just fornication, basically. So, number one reason why the scholars say a marriage must be documented is in case of pregnancy and delivery, a man can just leave. And when that happens, the court is not responsible. No one can help the woman. He does not have to pay alimony. And no one can punish him either for doing that. So the woman is in problems. The woman doesn't get child support because she's a single mother. The children are not named after their father's last name. They're going to be named after the mother's last name, meaning they're bastards. That's a big in here. But these women, however, continue to do it because, it can be really expensive and tedious to go from court to attorney to embassy to office. It can be hindering, but it's possible. It's possible to do, but people choose not to do it. So they choose not to spend all that money and get married on the authority of religion, which does not count, by the way. And in the end, when they get into problems, they go onto social media and start asking people, I need help. But when things go south, because these women are used to living so good in Morocco, and then they go to this country that is way poorer than our country, the following happens. The man would, this happens a lot, kick her out of the house, so she's living in slums in a different country that she doesn't know. She's poor and begging in the street with children. Or they go to the embassy and start crying and begging for the embassy to send them back home, so the embassy does with a bastard child. Third, she comes back to Morocco with her child and her husband, and they start a YouTube channel. So it's usually, in this case, it's the woman that's going to be the main provider of the house. Meanwhile, the man is going to be filming, hopefully that his videos reach people, and they start to kissing up to the policies of Morocco and this and that, but we can see through that. Let's talk about the backlash. So the women in Morocco that are dignified enough to take the halal good route, they don't like to be associated with these women who like to go so hard, ride or die for these men who would eventually just treat them like that. Nobody's happy with that phenomenon, so everybody just called them scum and lowlifes. The women, not the men. Well, same thing. So they're busy humiliating the rest of us who actually bothered to go to the embassies and, file legal paperwork. There's nothing wrong about being divorced, but the thing is, you're not even married, yet you're living with the person as if you're married with them, and you don't do those things here. You don't do those things even in those countries. Yet nobody's saying anything. That you're so desperate that you go the extra mile just to be with someone who in the end treats you like that. And one of the problems that happen with these women is that sometimes even their families don't want them back because you're bringing shame, you're bringing a bastard child. Who wants that? So men who usually agree to these marriages, or I don't know, maybe even suggest them, are usually from countries such as mainly Egypt, all the surrounding countries, and Saudi Arabia. They're very guilty of this. Now, with the Saudi Arabians, that actually you kind of need a visa to go to Saudi Arabia if you're in Morocco, but the thing is, those men come here a lot. What happens is they get married here illegally and they leave. I don't know, they will buy you an apartment or somewhere to live in, no problem to them. But the thing is, he's gonna send you money for, let's say, the first 3 years, but then he marries his cousin, now he can no longer do that. And so these women are left there hating, maybe they have a child, I want my husband back. And there's no way for the women to go and, contact these men. There's no way to find these men. There's no way to sue these men because there's nothing between you and men to begin with. Somalia, all these countries that don't really require a visa, they do that. And so in these cases, the women just pack their bags, buy their tickets, and go chase their husbands wherever they are in a different country. And you know, problems usually happen after child number 1. Conclusion: don't get married illegally. I know that it's really hard to marry a person from a different country. I've been there. All the paperwork running here, that it took me like 3 months to get married personally, just because me and him we were very stupid at the time. We didn't even know what papers we needed, yet we kept persevering until we actually did it. So if I, at 19, idiot, was able to do it, I'm sure you can do it too. So please stop marrying these men illegally. You're ruining the reputation of our countries and of our girls, like the decent ones at least. And let's not forget Turkey. Turkey, oh yeah. Now the Turkish men, what they have going on is that they have the European face, but the Islamic religion. But what they also have is the awful treatment of women. They're not very nice to women. And so Turkey doesn't also require a visa to go there. So these women just pack and leave, and they go and chasing their husband. Now for the Westerners that are not finding an issue with that, in here it's a big deal for a woman to pay for her own things to go in hunt of a man like that. It's the man that's supposed to dignify you, honor you enough to buy you things, and also to bring you instead of you going chasing. So I don't know if it sits with how it sits with you, but it doesn't sit right with us Arabs. So yeah, this is the end of this video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.